Hi, this is Anna Breeze, and today I want to talk to you about 5 ways to overcome or heal anxiety. And this is something that I've had very much personal experience with over the years on my own journey. And so today I just want to share with you some things that have really helped me along my path to come to a place where I rarely experience anxiety these days. And, I went from basically living in a box to not being able to hardly walk out the house and do anything, to 4 years later where I'm being able to do public talks and get back up on stage and sing and perform. So, this has been quite a transformation in my own life regarding this. So I just want to share with you. So number 1 is meditation. When I started to get back into meditation and really align with my true source, my true connection with source, this really was transformative, because what meditation really does is gives us that time to completely relax, and deeply relax. And, it increases our ability to handle stress, because it's like there's this undercurrent when we start to then go about our life again. It's this undercurrent of peace. And when you're in meditation, you go beyond the thoughts and the emotions. So you sink, it allows you the space to sink deeply into just pure being. And so it's like the gateway into witness consciousness as well. So basically it helps to disidentify from the mind, from the thinker, the ego, and our emotions. So meditation gives us this space to do that. And I found that the more I did that, the more ability I had to release any tension and stress that was going on in my external life at the time. So it's easy to get caught up in everything that's going on around us. But taking that time to meditate just helps you to reconnect with really the truth of who you are. So it helps you to reconnect to and align with source. And this is nourishing. It's kind of like self-love. It's an act of self-love meditation, because you're connecting with your true being, your true essence in that peaceful state. So what it allows as well is just to become more of a witness to what's going on with you in your body, whether it's mind, thinking, or emotions. And so I think what it helped me do was to start seeing the anxiety or depression or whatever it was, to actually see it as, but more anxiety, I think, was what was going on. So it helps to see it as a phenomena. So as I detached from being caught up in the anxiety and saying, well, I'm anxious, or I'm this, or I'm that, it helped to create that space where I was able to see the anxiety as something that was just occurring. So it's like an appearance on the canvas of your true nature, because your true nature, there is no anxiety, there's just peace and calm. But anxiety is like a phenomena. It's just something that's appearing, something that's occurring, and something that, not to be afraid of as well. So once we can recognize it as a phenomena that's occurring and just witness it from a place of non-judgment, it's very, very important to not judge what's going on and, get annoyed about the fact that it's happening to us as well. So it's really just about allowing it to be and, saying, okay, it's there, but, I'm not going to let it, stop me doing what I want to do in life, because, it's just to feel it and allow these feelings to come and go, because they do come and go. It's not like it stays there all the time. So meditation is the first thing, because it helps you to detach from what's actually going on and become that witness state. And so this brings me on to point number 2, and it's really just to face your fear of death, I guess. you know, like, and to know that you are ultimately safe. You can never be harmed. Your eternal spirit, your consciousness in a body. You're not the body itself. So having this kind of perspective is really, really helpful. And again, this comes from your deeper connection to your inner being. And you just kind of know this. You know that that's not who you fundamentally are, because you're one with the Creator, with the cosmic consciousness. So it's like you can then just witness what's going on with the body and realize that you can never die. And when you know that you can never die, there's nothing to really be afraid of. So I think, number two, in my experience, that facing death, the fear of death, because for many years I did have a fear of death. And then I think that having witnessed it through my pet's experience of death over many, many years, and then the kind of psychic connection and communication that I got from them, the feedback that I got from them, has completely convinced me now that there is absolutely no death. And also, I've been through a few challenges myself where, you know, I've kind of gone through this portal where I was physically very, experienced something very challenging, and then there was nothing to do except surrender to the prospect of, well, you know, maybe I was going to die, you know? And so it was like, through facing it, there was this complete surrender into just beingness and bliss. So basically, when you can face your fear of death and know that you're an eternal being, that kind of just releases a lot of the fears and anxieties, because unless there really is a 6 foot or 8 foot bear, you know, chasing you down the street, where your fight or flight mechanism is in gear, and there is this anxiousness because, you know, it's being, your body's like saying, okay, we need a run now, you know, so it's like putting you into gear. We're not really faced with that kind of, you know, situation. So most of it is just general anxiety that, you know, we might experience day to day, or maybe when we're interacting with people we notice it, because it's like the play of the personalities and lots of different things going on there, comparison, self-judgment, and so there's lots of anxiety that come around that, but that's another video. So facing death and realizing that you are eternal and that you are the Creator itself, and, you know, an extension of consciousness in a body to experience this lifetime in the physical. That was very helpful. So number 3 is to just recognize your triggers. You know, recognize when are the worst times. When do you get triggered for anxiety? What brings up the anxiety in you? So again, this is kind of like just facing your fears or facing your past self, because a lot of the time our anxieties are based around our conditioning, you know, our parents, you know, and trauma that we had in childhood. So recognizing your triggers, and also just like maybe reflecting on, you know, when did this start? Was it a childhood trauma that kind of initiated this anxiety? And so self-forgiveness of the past and letting go of the past is a great way as well. Because when we're truly living in this moment, when we're truly just being, we can be present to just the phenomena that's going on. We can just allow it to be and not get caught up in it. So it's really when we get caught up in it and identified with it that it becomes an issue or a problem. But it's no problem if we can just remain in that witness consciousness state of being and just see it as something that kind of comes in and out of our experience. So yes, allowing it to feel it, and allow any past trauma, forgive the past trauma, and stay present. If you can live in the present moment. And again, this is what the meditation helps us fundamentally to become more in the present and live our lives from that state of being. So number 4 is just to love yourself, just to fully love yourself, fully love and accept yourself for who you are. A lot of the time we might be in relationships or situations where we're just kind of like giving out all the time, giving out. And it's like we're emptying ourselves, and then there's this kind of like, anxiety can come because we're just not really self-nurturing enough. We're not self-loving. We're not filling up our own cups to ground ourselves. So it's very important that we kind of ground ourselves in our own self-love and respect and just honor ourselves and our own needs. So don't short-circuit yourself by other people's demands of your time and your energy. So it's really being, again, conscious and self-aware, knowing yourself and being aware of, when are you starting to go off balance? So being more aware of when you feel in balance and when you feel off balance, or when you feel like you're kind of, for me, it's kind of the way I used to kind of notice when I was starting to get off balance was it felt like I was leaning. So it's just maybe a helpful kind of analogy. It felt like I was leaning or being pulled this way, being pulled off balance. So recognize when that starts to happen and self-correct. So really, when we're becoming more conscious beings, we're on auto self-correct all the time. We're like noticing when we're getting off balance, because ultimately we want to find our own purpose and we want to be of service to others in this life the best that we can. And we can only do that when we fully know ourselves and when we can fill up our own resource of well-being so that we can give to others. So it's being aware of our own imbalances first, and that's really how we change the world as well. So it's being aware of our own imbalance and doing what we can to feel balanced and at peace. And the more we do that, the more that we can share that and kind of be an example and help everybody. So that's kind of where we're heading with that. So don't short-circuit yourself by other people's demands. Self-nurture, self-love, do what you need to do to keep yourself in balance. And that brings me on to number 5, which is the last one. And it's really just about taking good care of yourself. So it does tie in with self-love, self-nurture, looking after yourself. So that meditation time every day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night if you have time, is really just giving yourself some time out, an opportunity to relax and let go deeply. It's an act of self-love. So can you do that? Can you do that for yourself? And see how it affects the anxiety. See if you notice the change. See if you notice that it becomes less. So taking good care of yourself, eating well. What are you putting into your body? My brother always had this saying, which was just, crap in, crap out, which is, I'm sure you've heard of it. And it's so true, because this is your vehicle, this is your body, and it's like, what are you feeding it? And this is not just physically, but it's also mentally and spiritually. What are you feeding your mind and your body every single day? What situations, what are you exposing yourself to? It's all food. It's all energy. It's all vibration. So what food are you nurturing the plant of yourself? Because you are a plant. You're a flower. You're meant to flower and shine your light. So what are you feeding this plant? How are you nurturing the soil of your plant so that it can grow and shine and share its beauty all around? Okay, so putting the right fuel in the body, taking good care, honoring your body, eating well, exercising, meditation, and then you can also just look at environmental things that might not be really suiting who you are now, because we're always growing, we're always evolving. So what you wanted a year ago might not be what you want now, or might not be what fits you now, because you've grown and you've stretched and you've evolved into this new conscious being where you are now. So it's like, what is the next thing that's going to, like, you know, take you up to that next level? What's going to be, what is your highest resonance to follow now? So it's what brings you the path. What is the path of greatest joy for you? And let that be your guiding light as well. So what's the path of greatest joy? And if there are things in your life that you feel, you know, I've set up this business here, but, you know, it really doesn't resonate. And so it just feels like a weight. Anything that feels heavy or just like is weighing you down in any sense, and making, you know, causing your mind to have too many things to focus on, too many things, too many responsibilities. So what can you let go of? What can you let go of to free up the energy for the things that are more right for you, that are more in harmony with you? And something that you might find helpful, which I was sharing with a client recently, was the Myers-Briggs personality test. You might have heard of it, Myers-Briggs. You can look it up online. And it kind of just helps see some of the personality tendencies that, you know, because we kind of, you know, some of us are very sensitive, some of us are very logical minded. And so it's just finding out, you know, helps you to get to know yourself a little bit better. It's a useful tool. I'm not going to like say it's the truth or anything like that, but it's a useful tool to just get to know yourself a little bit and get some insight into kind of what makes you tick. And I think people have found it useful in the past. So you could look up that. And I think that's really it. So yeah, it's like, it's about making these changes where necessary. You know, it's like, if there are any changes that you feel you need to make, then you could look at that as well. But I'm more about working from the inside out. So the more that we work from the inside, you'll notice that things out there start to ease up, and that you will have the insight and clarity to say, well, you know what, this doesn't really align with me, or maybe something over here does. So you can then make those changes a little bit more easier, because you're already feeling in a centered, good place. So that's my recommendation. So 5 ways to relieve anxiety: meditation, and then just getting to know yourself, facing your fear of death, recognizing that you are the creator, recognizing your triggers, forgiving your past, releasing the past trauma, doing what you can to heal. So any self-nurturing practices, loving yourself, and making sure that you give that time to yourself to self-nurture, self-love, take good care of yourself. Remember, fill up your own, you know, well-being first, and then you can be of service to others. So we have to put ourselves first in that respect, before we can fully be of service to others. As the saying goes, if you're not happy, you're not helping. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're in a good place first. So I'm sending you lots of love and light and healing wishes, and you're okay, you are loved, you are beautiful, you have purpose. And, you know, it's important that we all raise ourselves at this time. We all raise the energy, we all raise the vibe. So it's just making sure that we're in a good place, and then, you know, so that peace can spread across the planet. And when you're in a good place, and when you're happy, and when you're feeling joy and at peace in your life, that just radiates out to all the people that you love and know, and then they see from your example. And so we're kind of, you know, nudging each other up all the time in a good way, in a positive way. So health and happiness to you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.